You ready?
I'm ready. Do I have to
Alright.
press a button or do you have control?
No, I've already started recording.
Welcome to the Foolish Wanderers podcast.
Why must I be surrounded by fools?
Welcome, Wanderer.
Welcome to the first ever Foolish Wanderers podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Katrina.
And I'm Kendra.
And today we shall be talking about Mandela Effects. Kendra, do you know what Mandela Effects are?
Nope. I previously thought that they were a piece of art, like artwork, with like geometric patterns, like cut out and pasted. But
I think it's kind of close in spelling, but completely different. I think
but
this
yeah, you informed me that
Mandela.
there was a Mandela. So
Mandela, yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, so these are Mandela effects, named after Nelson Mandela, who is a South African president. Quick question before I get into like where this actually started.
Mhm.
What year do you think he actually died? Like, when do you remember? Like, do you know him about him at all? Or no?
I'll give you
It's
like
okay if you
a
don't.
gist
But
of it. I
okay,
remember that he was like in prison or something. He had like a lot of followers, and then he was released from prison and then became the president of South Africa. And then most people get him and Morgan Freeman mixed up.
yeah.
And then Morgan Freeman played him in a movie. So
Oh
that's
wow.
about as
Okay.
much as I know. I think he passed away, like, is it 2014 or something?
2013. Very close.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
I
Good
remember
job.
Obama was in office, so.
Okay. Well, so growing up, when I first heard about these effects, I don't know, it must be someone else I was thinking of, but I could have sworn I was taught in school that he died in prison in the 1980s. Like, and
Mm.
so, like, thousands of people think that he died. They remember him dying and seeing, like, televised, like, funeral for him, and, like, his wife, like, giving a funeral speech. People think, like, remember him dying in prison.
How many people?
It's like, I have to look up, like, the actual amount, but it's, like, a good, like, couple, like, 100,000 people, at least.
Are these people like from around the world, or are they just from like one spot?
Like, from around the world, yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's like they couldn't be mistaken it for like Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral or anything like that because he's
Yeah, so I don't know. I've seen, like, thousands of people say, like, that they believe he died in prison and remember him dying. So, but he actually died in
yeah.
2013 from a respiratory infection.
Yeah.
So that the actual term Mandela effect was introduced in 2009 by Fiona Brome, I think is how you pronounce. She published a website talking about her observations because she was one of the people that thought that he passed away in the 80s. And then she was shocked when talking to her friends about that to learn that he was still alive. And so I guess it's a pretty popular thing, and there's a lot of different like things from pop culture, like to famous brands, that like people remember it one way, but it's actually something completely different or slightly different. So Mandela effect is pretty much equal to a false memory. There's actually quite a few in this list I'm gonna show you that like actually make me question my childhood because I remember it so vividly, so many of these things certain ways, and they're never this way. Supposedly in our world today, it's never been this like how I thought growing up it was. It's completely different.
I'm super
So
surprised that like the term it came out in 2009.
yeah, well, it's because she didn't Fiona like she thought that he passed away in the 80s,
Mhm.
and so and he was still alive then, and then 2009.
Yeah.
So she like yeah, so it's like it's been around for quite a while, and ever since she started publishing her findings with the phenomenon,
Mhm.
like more and more of these instances have come out, and then I know you listeners don't have. I'm pretty sure if you Google like Mandela effects, like a whole bunch of these images I'm going to be talking about will pop up right away. But if not, I'll post a bunch on Instagram when this episode comes out, so that way you can kind of see some of the stuff that we're talking about. But yeah, there's a lot of instances, especially from my childhood or our childhood, that's crazy.
I have a Mandela effect.
What happened? Oh
And
no.
it is an ongoing argument that I have with my parents and Mr. Kendra.
Okay. What is it?
I remember when McDonald's fries changed from using lard to vegetable like cooking like vegetable oil that they're using today. Because they
Okay.
used to swear I remember them being like really like the McDonald's fries being like really, really good. And then I swear I remember them then like making an announcement to change to something healthier, which was vegetable oil. But I
Mhm.
remember I gotta Google this, but I
Yeah, I
remember
think.
Mr. Kendra Googled it and he saw that they changed it in 1992 and I was born in 1996. But I swear I swear I
That
remember like the change.
that's weird. Unless they like just started like combined the oil or something and like just completely went vegetable oil. Because I think yeah, because I remember reading that it used to be
Yeah,
like in lard,
lard.
but
That's why yeah.
yeah,
So 1990 was the actual I'm seeing the date that they changed, but I swear
like you
I
actually
swear
remember it.
I swear I remember them changing it.
Oh, that's weird. It's like I
I,
don't. That's a whole other theory than like a past life. You're just like.
I don't know, but I love that my Mandela effect is McDonald's oriented
Right.
because I love my McDonald's fries.
Oh yeah, they're delicious.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh my. Okay. So, do you want to get into the first one?
Let's get into it. Let's dive in.
Okay. So far, listeners, I prepared a slide for Kendra so that way she can kind of click through and look at images of what I'll be talking about,
Yep.
and kind of we'll be discussing about like what we think and what we remember as kids. So, you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Okay. So, Curious George. Did you watch Curious George or read any of his books or anything?
It was just like the original books.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, do you remember him with a tail or without a tail?
I remember him like being like a creepy baby, like a with fur, like a creepy baby with fur, and he didn't have a tail.
Okay. Well, then you'd be correct because he has never had a tail.
Yes.
But hundreds of people like vividly remember him having a tail, which I don't think he ever did, at least from what I remember growing up.
Uh huh.
But I think it might be just ingrained in memories that like since like monkeys
Have
and like
tails.
have tails, a lot of them have tails. Yeah,
Traditionally, yeah. I
yeah. So
wonder, I'm just Googling this right now, but do you ever remember reading Arthur, the Aardvark books?
yeah, well, I watched the show. Yeah.
Oh, you watched the show? Okay, well, I had,
Mhm.
since my mom was a teacher, she had some of like the original old books. And
Okay.
do you remember Arthur looking like an actual aardvark instead of like the weird like John Legend looking cartoon that he is today?
Well, I never read the books, so like I
Okay.
just know him as like a rounded nose and like the ears
Okay.
on top of his head.
Well, I just wanted
But
to Google like original Curious George just to see if like he did have a tail and then they changed the character like they did to Arthur.
okay,
But
yeah.
yeah, he never has had a tail. He's always been the creepy like furry toddler without a tail. Isn't George like a chimpanzee though?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Cause dude, I think he's a chimp, and I don't think chimps have tails. They're just like primates. Yeah, they don't have tails. They're cute though. They're vicious. They will rip your face off with their incredibly strong fingers.
Yeah, they're.
They'd be really good bodyguards for the president. Oh my gosh.
Oh no! Could you imagine just having monkeys as your bodyguards?
I can't imagine that. Yes. Would it be they'd be great. I mean, they would fling their, feces.
Oh no!
That would be like their first line of defense would be flinging their poo, and then their second line would just be ripping, just like faces
Oh
off.
my gosh!
You know?
And then you get lawsuits against you constantly from your bodyguards.
But I mean, like, if the person, attempted to attack you, it's fine.
Okay. Ready for the next one?
Yes, ready?
Okay. Did you ever read the Bernstein Bears growing up?
Yeah, they lived in like a tree, right?
I think so. Yeah. So how do you remember it being spelled? Is it Sten or Stan?
I think it's A-N, like stain. I don't know. I
Really?
pronounce things weird. I think I was like
Okay.
Berenstain. Yeah.
Okay. So like growing up, I could have sworn when I saw this one, it like blew my mind because I swore it was spelled Sten, but it's actually Stain.
I was right?
You're right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like I remember it Stein.
Don't you pronounce it like you pronounce like was it
Bernstein.
Berenstain? It's
I think so.
Berenstain? Berenstain
Bernstein. Yeah,
Berenstain Bears.
it's Ain, which is crazy in my
A-I-N.
mind. This is one of the first ones that I saw that like actually
You're like,
made me
what?
question my childhood.
That's crazy. Okay. The Are you moving on to the Monopoly Man?
Yes. Okay. Did you play Monopoly as growing up?
Yes, we would play it like once a year, and it would be like a bloodbath in my house because I'm an only child, so I'm the firstborn, and both of my parents are the firstborns, so we're
Oh
naturally
no.
like combative people who were
Okay.
very competitive. So, like, Monopoly was just war. It's like how you stop talking to family members, honestly.
Yeah. It used to be my
Like,
favorite game growing up. I had so many versions of Monopoly, and like no one would want to play with me except for rare
were
occasions
you good
because
at it?
it's good, and then also it took so long to play. One time during like a
Oh,
snow
it's like a
semester.
it's like what, like a 3-hour game at
Oh, at
least?
least. Yeah. There's I think I was in it's either middle school or high school. I remember we had snow days or like delayed snow days. So delayed school for like until noon. So my brother, sister, and I would play Monopoly, the same game, for like the few days that we had delayed school. But we had that game going for like a good couple of days.
Oh
But
my
yeah, so
god.
it lasted a long time. And if we just played a straight game, it at least take 3 hours. Otherwise, we
Jeez.
like pause it and come back to it. And yeah, but it was fun. I had like the ones like the credit cards and stuff.
Oh, you had
But
the new see, you had the new one. No,
yeah,
we have the old school, like the shoe
well,
and the
yeah.
thimble and the top hat.
And we
Yeah.
had those too, and we played them at my grandparents' house. My aunt and uncle are crazy competitive with it though. So it's like you can't play with it because they're
It's
like you
just
guys. Oh man,
Monopoly is the game that destroys families. I just don't.
that's true.
The only acceptable way for Monopoly to end is like you flipping the board and then like throwing it around the room.
Throw a tantrum.
Uh-huh. Oh my gosh. All right. The Monopoly guy. I've got two Monopoly men
Yeah.
logos up here.
Do you remember him with a monocle or without?
This I've seen this one before, like the meme, or it was like on Reddit, like this
Okay.
post. So I
Yeah.
know he doesn't have a monocle, but I
Hmm.
remember him having one. I was like, I always
Yeah.
thought he
Same.
had one because in like pop culture, like SNL or like other cartoons or something, they always or songs, they'll like be like with
Hmm.
the Monopoly guy with the monocle.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like it's so ingrained into like so many people's memories, especially
Uh-huh.
since it's such a well-known game. It's
Yes,
like
but doesn't have one.
it doesn't have a monocle. I could have
Has good
sworn he
eyesight.
had it.
What's a
Perfect eyesight.
monocle even used for? Like,
I think it kind of depends. I think don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's it's like focus your eye on one. Like if you can't, it's like a rich thing. So like if glasses are super expensive, especially when they first were invented, so you'd have
uh-huh.
one glass to like fix your vision. So like yeah, so it's like a thing of wealth. Like oh, I can afford good eyesight. Like
With for one eye.
for one eye. But I think it was like a fashion piece too. Um, but yeah, so it's always been a symbol of wealth, at least that I've seen like in old movies and stuff.
Okay. I always
but
thought it was just like weird. All right, I googled monocle, and this is the Wikipedia definition of it. A monocle is a type of corrective lens used to correct or enhance the visual perception of only one eye. It consists of a circular lens, here we go, wiring around the frame, and then a string.
mhm.
Let's see, it first started in Rome in the 1720s, it seems.
Oh,
Weird. And then just went to England from there, and that's where it's popularized.
mhm.
That's weird. What lame peasants only could afford to fix one eye?
Well, if you're lucky enough to fix any of your eyes, I'm sure you
Like,
would.
didn't Ben Franklin invent the bifocals like
Yeah,
like 100 years or whatever before the thing is invented or something?
before what thing is invented?
The
The monocle?
monocle, yeah.
I don't know.
I remember he invented the bifocals. 'Cause I remember
Mhm.
I learned that from Nicolas Cage's National Treasure.
Yes, the best fact checking.
I love those movies.
Very good.
Okay, next Mandela.
Okay, the next one.
Oh, it's the Pikachu
Pikachu. Yeah, so I could have sworn because I
from
used to watch Pokemon, like the TV show when I was
Mhm.
growing up, but I could have sworn he had a black tip tail.
He does, right?
No, he doesn't.
He
He's
doesn't?
never he
Oh,
doesn't
it's
he's never had
wrong.
a black tail.
It's all he's all
It's
yellow.
yeah, which is weird because so many people, like diehard Pokemon fans, like remember him having the black tip tail. And I could have sworn I had like a stuffed animal of him with a black tip tail, but it's all
Okay.
yellow.
Couldn't like manufacturers or something make like a product that's Pikachu with a black tip tail to try and escape like what is it called? What is it called? Come
It's it oh
on.
like copyrights or something?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
copyrights. So maybe they are Pikachus that exist with the black tip tail, and that's why like that Mandela effect has been created.
That's true. Yeah. It's just weird because if you think about it, because like if there's so many diehard, because Pokemon's like a cult following, so
Yeah,
like
they're a cult.
so like you think like after so many like generations of it, like you wouldn't have that memory ingrained in your head of him having a black tip tail, but
Hmm.
maybe I'm wrong. I
I
don't know.
don't know. I remember him having that too. That's weird. Is Pikachu your favorite Pokemon?
No, I think Charizard and Squirtle are my favorites.
Charizard and Squirrel. I like that Psyduck because I think
Yeah.
that Psyduck is me. Where it has to be in a calm environment, otherwise it will freak out. I think that's me. Put me on a freeway driving and you will see me
Oh,
freak
Mr.
out.
Heineck.
Yeah. Yeah, what is it gonna be? Psyduck, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Like,
Oh my.
yeah, and then blows up. Yeah. Has like an anxiety. Yeah, has an anxiety attack
Anxiety
and then
attack.
blows its head up. I'm like,
Oh.
that's me. Okay. Next, we're
Next
talking
one.
about wieners.
Oscar Mayer.
They're
So this
kosher.
one, yes. This one actually, this one got my mom actually because she remembers the jingle that went along with the song. So which spelling is correct? Meyer or Mayer?
It's Oscar Mayer, so it's like Meyer.
It's Mayer.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. That's what
I
my
don't
mom
think
said
it is.
because she remembers the
It's not
jingle of it.
AR. It's the ER.
It's
No,
AR.
it
It's AR.
is. I always thought no.
See
No
that one's a
way.
really tricky one.
Oscar, it's like spelled May. It's like
Mayor,
MAY.
yeah.
Mayor. What?
Yeah, which is
That's
weird
so
because
freaky. I've seen that Wienermobile. I've like been to it. I could have sworn that's freaky. That
yeah,
one got me.
it's one of the ones that sticks with you because my mom I asked her if she how she spells it and she's saying the jingle like Meyer and I was like it's AR and
So
she
it's MAY.
yeah
Oh,
Mayer yeah it's weird.
that's a weird. I don't like that one. Okay. That one threw me for a loop. That one's tripped me up. The other ones really haven't.
Yeah. Okay.
Minus the Pikachu.
Pikachu?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right.
You ready for
Next
the
one.
next one?
Yep.
Alright. So you know the popular brand Fruit of the Loom?
Yes, I
Do you
think I'm
remember?
wearing their underwear. Very comfortable, made of cotton.
Yes.
I like them. They sag. Well, no, they
Yeah.
don't sag, but
They
there's
say.
like, they're not constricting. I can like roll around on
Yeah.
the floor or whatever I'm doing. I don't know why I use that as an example,
You
but
roll around on your underwear.
hmm
Do you remember their logo having a cornucopia behind the fruits, or no? Because I remembered
um,
growing up that it did.
I thought I had like a cornucopia, but then I changed it, right?
It's never had a cornucopia, actually.
Never?
Which is it's never had it. Which is
I'm
weird because
googling
I
this.
remember the package like growing up it had a cornucopia, but it's never
Maybe
had
you,
that.
maybe
My
you
brain's all
like,
messed up, man.
maybe you were buying like a knockoff version and it was like fruit of the
Off-brand.
womb or something like that.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh, yeah. None of their logos have the cornucopia.
Isn't it weird? It's like childhood ruined.
Never. I'm looking at the history of their logos and they never. This is world shattering. Someone explain why
That's why these things are so weird because there's so many Mandela effects and they keep coming up and finding new ones.
this is just earth shattering.
It's weird.
What?
And there's like theories, some people have theories that we come from other parallel universes
Oh,
and
this is
something
cool.
happens and like there's slight changes and then we keep transferring different like universes. And
What?
that's why these slight changes, but we remember them from our previous universe.
Previous universe.
Yeah, it's weird. So, like I don't really believe it, but I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Like I'm
Oh my
not saying
gosh.
it's not a real thing, but it's kind of hard to believe. But
What
yeah,
the?
there's a lot of really weird things.
Oh my goodness.
Are you ready for one that kind of tore me apart and like changed one of my absolute favorite cinematic universes?
Yes, I'm gonna guess it's something about Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yep, I
So
know this one.
you know this one?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's
So it,
so it's from looking at the picture, this one's from Empire Strikes Back. This is where
mm,
Luke's in like the Sky City or whatever that Lando's from,
mhm.
and he's fighting Vader, and it's the famous scene where he's like hanging on that, I don't know what it is, that ledge looking beam
It's like
thing. And
yeah.
then Vader's like, "Come join me. We have cookies. It's gonna be great." And then it's like, what is this? It's like, Luke, I'm your father, or
Mhm.
isn't that the line that everyone quotes?
Yeah. Yep.
But he never says that.
He never says Luke.
He's like, you
Yeah.
don't know the truth about your father, do you? And then he's like, he told me you killed him. I don't know. Luke Skywalker has a southern accent.
In your
It
universe.
is a debutante in my brain. And then Vader goes, "No, I am your father." Or "I'm your father." Yeah.
Yeah, which something it's so weird because like I grew up saying like and so many people when they like play
Everyone
everyone
does.
yeah,
It's
it's
in
Luke, I am your
movies.
father.
Yeah.
It's on
It's
merch, it's on like everything.
mhm.
Yeah, but it's never a line.
Nope. I
Yeah.
don't kn I wonder how that started. Maybe it's just easier to say, "Luke, I
I,
am your father."
that could be because that way you kind of know your
Uh,
context a little bit
yep,
better.
I think
But
so. That has to be it.
yeah.
That has to be it. You killed him, didn't you?
You ready for one that's might ruin one of your favorite movies? Or think do I
I swear, Katrina, if it's something that's gonna ruin Forrest Gump, I'm gonna cry. I'm
click the
scared.
next slide?
No! Forrest Gump? What's wrong with
Yeah.
Forrest Gump?
So his
I'm
line, as you know,
scared. Well, okay,
life
go.
is like a box of chocolates,
Uh-huh.
or
You never
life
know
was
what you're
like a
gonna
box of
get.
chocolates. Is life is or life was like a box of chocolates?
It is, right?
It was.
No, it's not. That doesn't make any
It
sense.
was. I
That
know, and
makes
that's
no sense. Life was like a box of
life
chocolate?
was yeah, which it's sad. It makes it a lot sadder because it's saying that like his life isn't full of mystery anymore. It's so sad.
Oh my gosh,
And
it's
that's another quote that like
life
yeah, so
was
many people
like a
say it.
box of chocolates. What? Life
Yeah, life was like a box of chocolates.
You never know
which is
what
weird.
that doesn't make. Yeah, that's weird. I don't like that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch that movie later to see. No way.
I'm gonna double check, fact check it.
Yes, I'm googling it right now. It's what?
Its life was like a box of chocolates.
It is. My mom. Yeah, he goes. Here's the thing. My mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Oh my gosh, I always thought it was life is like a box. But now
I know.
I'm seeing like YouTube clips, like the names, it's like Forrest Gump, life is like a box of chocolates, life's like a
Hmm.
box of chocolates. But the actual quote is life was like a box of chocolates. You
Hmm.
never know what you're gonna get. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Do you think, hey, this is like, I'm gonna rewatch the movie now to make sure this is right. But he says it like twice, or like his mama says it twice. It's like at the beginning of the movie sometime where he goes like, life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get. But then when she's dying in her deathbed and he's
Oh,
visiting her,
yeah.
maybe she changes it since she's gonna be dead to life was like a
Spoiler
box of
alert.
chocolate
That makes sense, yeah, because it makes it so much sadder. Just that one word change makes it so much
because
sadder.
she's dying. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wonder what the
that makes
heck.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I gotta look it up. I'm seeing from images on Google, googling, that quote. Seeing both.
Oh, okay.
Most
Yeah.
of it on merch is life is a box like a box of chocolates.
Hmm.
That's weird. I want since also Forrest Gump is a book, so
Yeah.
I wonder if that
Oh,
quote
if they
is from
changed
the
it.
book or if they came up with it for the movie. I don't know. Yeah, I wonder what the book is. That one is now every time
You can watch it,
I'm gonna
double
think
check it.
about that. You
Yeah.
know what? No. The next time I go to a Bubba Gump shrimp restaurant and they
Hmm.
do that Forrest Gump, because I love doing that. They do a Forrest Gump quiz.
Okay,
And I always get 100%. And they even will
of
like
course.
throw like a trick one in there for me, just to try
Hmm.
and trip me up. Nobody can trip me up when it comes to Forrest Gump. Nobody. Here's one. What kind of shoes did Jenny wear at to the wedding?
I have no idea.
Dude, she wore no shoes. She's went she went
Well,
she was barefoot.
oh, there you go.
That's one of them, yeah. So now when
Oh
I go
man.
there, I'm gonna ask them and be like, "Does Forrest say life is like a box of chocolates, or is it life was like a box of chocolates?"
Oh man, that's gonna be. Oh man.
I'm gonna screw up those poor waiters.
Should blow their minds.
I'm gonna
It's like,
blow their minds because that movie is constantly running in that restaurant.
yeah,
They play
yeah.
it 24/7, 365. So I'm
He's
just
like, no, oh
gonna
man.
mess with them. It's gonna blow their brains. All right. Next one. Moving
Next
on.
one.
Pivot, pivot.
Okay, so Snow White. So you know the very famous line from the Wicked Queen that she says to her mirror to wake it up.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Right? That's the line.
Close. Well, that's what they remember. It's actually magic mirror on the wall.
What?
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's this is like an older movie too, so it's like
It's
there's
from like the
so many
30s, I'm
generations.
pretty sure, right? Snow
Yeah.
White's from like the 30s. Let's look it up. Snow White, 1937.
Hmm.
Magic mirror on the wall. Oh my
Magic mirror.
goodness. What do they say in Shrek? Remember, and like they have the mirror, the magic mirror on the wall,
Yeah,
and then then Lord Farquaad is like, I'm pretty sure Lord Farquaad says mirror, mirror.
he does say mirror, mirror. So yeah,
Yes.
so something either changed like with
Yeah,
merch or something, so like they switched it, but it's always been magic mirror in the original.
that is so weird. Yeah, what happened? Why did that?
Yeah, so there's so many things again that yeah, it could have gotten changed a lot because it's had a lot longer to be changed than like
Oh,
Star
like
Wars or Forrest Gump.
37. It's like
But
what, 80 something years?
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so this one's a lot more able to be like switched around, but
Yep, because I
yeah.
mean they have like the shorts, they have rides at Disney World.
Hmm.
Yeah, that one's weird. Didn't that one surprised me? Okay, moving on to I
And the
see a
last one,
picture of Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. Okay, so you know their famous song "We Are the Champions,"
Oh
and the
yeah,
last line that he sings.
I like sing it in my head.
The very last that everyone remembers him singing at the end of the "We Are the Champions."
Isn't it of the world? Isn't that
Yes,
he
but
holds it?
he only sang it once at a live performance. It's not in the actual recording. And everyone
Really?
remembers it. Yeah, apparently he never belt out like the famous line. He only sang it at the end of the song once during a performance at Wembley Stadium.
Wembley?
Yeah.
What?
So that must be the version that everyone remembers, if that's because that's such a famous line.
What the heck? How does it end
It
like all the other ones then?
just cuts off.
It just cuts off?
It just cuts off. Yeah.
Weird. What the heck? Yeah, that's crazy. It only happened once.
Only once at this
Wembley
one live
Stadium.
performance. Yep.
Weird. That's yeah, that one. Wow. Do you have any like more information on like why like the weird alternate universe stuff?
Why people think that's a like a theory?
Yeah.
I can look it up quick.
Okay. That's yeah.
It mostly what I'm getting is like what is the Mandela effect and like
Mm,
examples of it. But yeah, so there are theories that people believe that the things that we remember and like that not everyone remembers is because we hopped universes pretty much. So like you remember things from our past universe, but it's weird. It's kind of a complicated thought, I guess. Do you think it has any credence that we're switching universes?
I think it's definitely has to do something with like copyright where like companies are like the peak like Pikachu or
Hmm.
something like that. Like companies are just changing something slightly so that they're able to sell it for merch. But with
Yeah.
like Curious George, probably just because he's a monkey, people associate like in your head the symbol for monkey, you know, the thing with a tail, and but he's really a
Hmm.
chimpanzee, so he doesn't have a tail. But to like feed into the weird alternate universe theory, this makes me think about the man. Have you heard about this? The man from Andorra. Have you
Oh, is
ever
that
heard about?
the? Is this the guy that he had like a passport
Uh
from a
huh.
place that never existed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
heard about that.
it's from yeah. Here it is. So it was July. This is from EnglishNewsNationTV.com. The man who vanished as mysteriously as he came. The man says that his country had been in existence for 1,000 years, and his country was called Andorra. So it was in New Delhi. It was July of 1954, and he arrived to. I'm gonna slaughter this name of this airport, but it's Haneda Airport in Tokyo, Japan. And he made his way to customs. But then after this, it was like a normal day, and then it got weird.
Hmm.
He he was questioned by the customs officers, and he said that he was from Tarid, which was so this is called the Tarid mystery for anyone that wants to Google this. So he said he was visiting from his country to Japan for business.
Hmm.
So yeah, he had a passport from Tarid, the country, the area that he came from, and
Yeah.
the passport looked authentic, but the place doesn't exist. So the
Yeah.
man was then so after they were like, this place doesn't exist, man, and he was like, yeah, it does. So he was given a map and then asked to point out his country, and then he immediately pointed to the area occupied by the Principality of Andorra. Okay, so Andorra is at the border of France and Spain. The man said that his country had been in existence for 1,000 years, and he was puzzled why his country was called Andorra on the map. So, okay, so it's a correction. He's from Tarid, he claims, not Andorra.
Okay.
So he was also carrying currencies from different countries. Yeah, so this is just, yeah. I don't remember what happened to him.
Didn't he just like disappear? Like they put him like in a hotel
Yeah,
and like
disappeared. Yeah.
yeah, he just like that's so weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
there's so many theories of like people somehow finding like a rift in different universes, but there's slight changes like where countries don't exist or like a person doesn't exist, but you clearly remember that it existed or that
So yeah, it says unexplained phenomena. Some people argued that the mystery man was indeed from Tarid, but the country happens to be in another universe and somehow passed through a parallel dimension and ended up in Tokyo. Another theory is that the mystery man was a time traveler and mistakenly landed at the airport. And then, above all, everyone thinks it's a hoax. But that's a pretty elaborate hoax.
yeah, I think like if it was a hoax, it'd be
1954.
yeah. And you'd think there'd be more people that would have like said like, "Oh, I'm from here," like at the same time or like around there if it was a hoax. Like he wouldn't have gone and made such a elaborate passport to where it's believable. But who knows?
I don't know, but it made me think of that with the weird alternate
And
reality.
isn't there like a clothing store called Torrid, which like it makes me think of that story every
I
time I
have
see it.
no idea. There might be.
I think I've seen it in a few malls, and it just like I never saw it until I heard about this story, and then all of a sudden, so it's probably like that thing where like you don't recognize something until you think about it. It's like, oh yeah, that exists. But yeah, so there's a clothing store called Torrid. It's
Yeah.
weird.
So you can look up his passport image and everything online. Like I'm looking it up right now, just more information into it. And he was so the man. They don't know who he is because he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was described as Caucasian, and he claimed to have traveled to Tokyo multiple times before, and he was speaking French, but he was also able to speak Japanese and other languages.
Oh wow. Like, wouldn't you think too? Like, if he was a time traveler, he would have maybe
He-
realized that like Tori didn't exist, or like, because if he was dressed in like the clothing of the time period, like he had to have known where he was going.
I don't know, that's just another, point that it could be from a parallel dimension, not time travel. That's freaky.
It's weird too, 'cause it's like, wasn't it that no one saw him leave the hotel and he just vanished?
Yeah, just slipped past the hotel guards, I guess.
Which again, like if it was a hoax, like that would be incredibly difficult to pull off too. Like if they actually had like guards and stuff like watching him, like you'd have to know where he was, like get him out of there. Even that's weird.
It's a weird one.
Did we first find that out a couple years ago when we were like up super late at school?
I think so. I think I heard it from like a podcast somewhere or something, and I was like, no way. Yeah, he had stamps from Tokyo, Japan, since he'd been there multiple times in his passport. So he had stamps in there.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for listening to our first ever podcast here at Foolish Wanderers. If you like, please follow us on Instagram at the Foolish Wanderers Podcast. And please, if you have any funny images or things you want us to talk about, feel free to DM us, and then we'll try to do them for our next podcasts.
And if you have any of your own Mandela effects, I totally want to hear about them. And if you remember the McDonald's the fry change, and you were born after 1990, please back me up and send in your support.
Until next time, bye.
Ciao.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Would you like some Turkish delights?
No.
Have you ever had Turkish delights? They're horrible.
I've seen them. I don't think I've ever eaten one.
I wanted to try them because of Edmund from the Chronicles of Narnia,
Oh
the
yeah.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because he was like, he sold out his family for this Turkish delights, and I was like, well, if he
Yeah.
sold them out, they must be that good. They're not. They're horrible. They're awful. So this kid is like a horrible human being. Just sold out his family for some shitty dessert.